you started
We're going live right
started a
now.
new one?
New one. You can't do an old one. Once it's already
I'm
gone, it's gone.
I'm deleting the old one.
Says we are live. Now let's see if this out actually works this time. Okay. Hey, we're live. All right. What's
Hey,
going?
sorry for the technical difficulties.
As I tried to say before, welcome to Miami Dolphins Syndicate. This is our 10th stream. Who would have thought we would have made it?
Yo, 10th anniversary, baby. Let's go.
I was going to say we've done 10 consecutive weeks, but that would just be factually incorrect.
Yeah, no, that's not
we
factually
had
correct.
we had some weeks that for one reason or another we're not able to come to you guys. But training camp is finally here. We finally have the Miami Dolphins in uniform practicing together, and it is just what 3 weeks away now from the first preseason game.
Dude, I cannot wait. What is the first preseason game? That's August 10th? August 10th,
11th,
I believe. 11th?
August 11th, which is a Friday. Yeah, yeah.
Bro, and the scrimmage is not this weekend but next weekend. So yeah, we're talking about 2.5, 3 or no. Yeah, 2.5 weeks away. We're 2.5 weeks away, bro.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's football. Football's starting to feel real. We just had our fantasy football dynasty league draft yesterday, and
Yes, sir.
you're feeling very confident about yourself after your draft yesterday.
Dude, okay. I made 9 trades in that draft, and I still had 21 picks, and my last pick was in the 16th round. So
You're just gonna find a way to keep trading your team away, and it ends up not being good every single time we have a fantasy. Well, the last two fantasy leagues that we've been in together last year, this man drafted a pretty solid team, a pretty good team, and then just found a way to trade all of his important players away and came away. One of them finishing dead last. The other one he got third place. So like it was a pretty respect. Was it third or fourth? Did you win that game?
I got 30. Yeah, I won that
Okay,
by a
so
pretty significant margin.
okay, so that one wasn't as bad because you basically try to spoon feed me the championship, which ended up winning, which it ended up being successful. But the other one, you just absolutely, completely fumbled the bag,
Yeah,
without a
I
doubt.
mean, it was a tough situation because I traded Ramondre away the week before he went off.
Tony Pollard, don't forget Tony Pollard.
I drafted JT and I kept him after week 1 when I had the opportunity to trade him for a large load. Um, and yeah,
We're gonna we're gonna just skip over that one, are we?
pause.
Do you got one Dolphins player yesterday, right? Was A Chain your only
I
one?
got two. I got
Two.
two. I got Tyreek. I got
Oh, you
Reek.
did. You traded up for
I
Tyreek,
did.
didn't you?
I did.
I completely
At
forgot
three
about that.
two.
I
At three
had
two.
so I got Waddle. So this is a dynasty league, a 10-man dynasty league super flex. I got Jalen Waddle at the 210. I had the first pick, so obviously I went Patrick Mahomes. I had Jalen Waddle, and then I wanted to come back, and quarterbacks were falling. So everyone was passing on their second quarterback. I wanted to be able to get Tua and get that pair, and whoever that was Dylan who took him. So I ended up getting Bryce
Dylan.
Young, which still getting Bryce Young at that position. I was absolutely
Well,
ecstatic
what was
for
that,
it.
like the 9th round or something? It was
Whatever it
crazy.
was, whatever it
It was
was.
crazy. Like the quarterbacks were just not going, and like I was expecting like the days previous to that, I was talking with Andrew, and I'm like, because I wanted to trade in front of you before your 7th round, or yeah, your 7th round pick, because you kept picking Kenny Pickett there, and so I wanted to trade in front of you, so I would pick Kenny Pickett there, and I still ended up getting Kenny Pickett, but like in like the 13th round or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was a really, really odd one. But with fantasy football starting, with your drafts, I'm sure are going to be still going on. We got another draft for another league we're in that's going to be going on a few weeks from now. It just makes you feel more real. And just like I mentioned, that first day of training camp was today. Or not really today. It was actually yesterday, but they didn't really do anything. It was just a lot of media availability, a lot of quotes we got to hear yesterday. But today was the
Mhm.
first actual day of action through the training camp. We got a lot of information, a lot of tweets. Donovan, what are some of the things we heard from today's practice?
So I'm gonna go first things first. So Teron Armstead, Tanner Connor, and Isaiah Wynn were all placed on the PUP. I'm not exactly sure what Tanner Connor's issue is. I'm not sure if that's related to his concussion from last year, which kept him out of the final like 8 games or something. Um, I think my doorbell just rang again. That's so weird how that happened 2 weeks in a row at the same exact time. So
Yeah,
whatever.
screw him.
I'm not even going to see that. But the other thing is, Tron Armstead, our starting left tackle, was on the PUP. Now, this shouldn't be as concerning for most. Like, some people are going to freak out, like, oh, our starting left tackle, who's always injured, is starting off on PUP. Like, this is bad. It's not necessarily bad. He's recovering from an off-season knee surgery, uh, but the knee surgery was just to clean up stuff in his knee. And Mike McDaniel said he's not really worried. And, he's been choosing his words very carefully ever since he got kind of he gave a positive update on Byron Jones, and then that never happened.
Yeah,
So
I mean, he even traveled to
since,
Cincinnati. Like that was so close to
yeah.
happening, and just never happened.
So he's been so careful since then. He even said in the press conference, he's like, I'm not going to promise anything. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth again because anything can happen. But
Right.
we're not really too concerned, and we feel like he's on the right track. Isaiah Wynn, he's also on the PUP. He's competing for the right tackle spot with Austin Jackson. He injured himself while training this offseason. On the positive side of injuries, though, True Will and Brandon Jones, both recovering from ACL injuries, are not going to be going on the PUP, and they were in individual workouts today. They did not participate in team drills, but that's expected to come a little bit later. They're still working back from their ACL injuries, but this is a huge, huge sign. And Brandon Jones, not even a leg sleeve today, I might add.
Yeah, those were two guys that I was looking to see how available they'd be, and from day one, it looks like. Did they participate at all in practice today, or are they still going to be ushered in?
So they participated in all the individual practices. They just didn't participate in the team, which they had some 7-on-7 stuff, which we'll get into in just a second. But yeah, they just did individual stuff. They didn't participate in any of the team stuff.
Okay, so but that's a good sign at the very least is to see guys get on the field. Brandon Jones, you know what his role is on the team. Blitz boy, he wears it on his sleeve. He's very happy to have that. And then Trill Will, somebody who last year had himself a fantastic camp. If you watched our video last week or the live stream last week, we talked about, at least on my end, he was my guy to look forward to coming into training camp. So just getting him on the field is without a doubt a massive importance to get him underway and somebody who can possibly compete for that cornerback 3. As for the two tackles, Wynn and Armstead, yes, I agree that I don't think it's too big of a concern, especially with somebody with Teron Armstead, who you want to be as careful with as possible, knowing that when the season comes, he's probably going to find a way to get an injury of some sort. So it is a little bit concerning, but I'd rather, especially at a position where last year we were decimated by injuries. That offensive line in general was just decimated by injuries. I want to see them on the field as soon as possible, and especially the competition for that right tackle position where last year, I mean, no one's hiding the fact that it was a revolving door and nobody particularly played well at right tackle. That is because Tua's lefty, arguably the most important position on the offensive line, and just to constantly have a different guy there every single week, and honestly, none of them being that good. I hope Wynn can get out there, take Austin Jackson's spot from him, and just keep it and ride out. So I like to see Wynn get out there as soon as possible. You know when Armstead's healthy, he's going to be the left tackle. So I'm not even as much concerned about Teron Armstead being out there as I am for Isaiah Wynn.
Yeah, that's my main concern is Isaiah Wynn. Now, there wasn't much clarity to his injury, so I can't really get into that because Mike McDaniel didn't get into that himself. So not really too much information there. Although Brandon Jones, he did go on to say to reporters that he has been studying heavily the new playbook, and he plans to expand from just being a blitz boy. Like you said, like he knew his role, and he was proud of his role with Brian Flores, but he wants to expand that with Vic Fangio, especially with his old teammate from Texas coming over, Sean Elliott, who can do both things, competing for that strong safety spot.
No, I had nothing to say. Just keep going.
I thought you were going to add some. True Will, his dad went on Twitter the other day. I'm not sure if most of you Dolphins fans saw it or not, but his dad went on. He's like, Trill was never a guy that's like, oh yeah, he's a corner. He's going to be a corner, and he's one position that he wants. He thinks that his son can play the entire secondary. He can play the boundary, play the slot, play safety if he needs to. So if Trill is in that expanded role where he can play any position, he could be very versatile for this defense. And hey, that's something that can really be helpful.
Yeah, and we have a few players who are like that, especially in the second. Or I not say a few players that are like that, but we've seen that with guys like Eric Rowe previously come in. Where he was a cornerback turned into a safety, and you weren't quite sure where he was going to be played. At one point, we thought we had that with Minka Fitzpatrick, and that lasted for all about 10 minutes. So versatility on defense in general, where you don't know when the offense breaks the huddle and the quarterback's trying to diagnose the defense. If you know where a guy's lined up, but you have no idea where he's going to go from there because he can play multiple positions. That's super helpful from the safety position. Somebody who a conversation was to be had about whether he was going to show up or not, that being Connor Williams. And all signs so far have pointed to him showing up, and then we did get to see that today.
Yeah, we did see that today, as well as he gave a interview for reporters, and he was saying that he is unhappy with this contract. But he is focused on football right now, and he feels really comfortable and at home at the center position, especially going into year 2. He's really excited to progress from where he was last year. And on top of all of that, he wants to get paid properly. So he wants to go in contract year, show up and show out. So last year he had the snap issues. If he figures that out, and he was already a top 4 blocking center at that. So if he goes in, improves on that, and improves his snapping ability, he could be looking at probably $4 million more than if he were to sign this offseason.
Yeah, and I would still try to get his deal done if I was the Dolphins. We talked in previous weeks about trying to get a contract done or not even a contract done, but bringing in guys like Josh Jacobs, bringing a guy like Saquon Barkley, because you have the money to spend, and we did actually see that the Dolphins did try to go out and get Saquon Barkley. But since it doesn't look like either of those two are going to get done, really important to try to get both Christian Wilkins done and Connor Williams done, 2 guys going into contract seasons. And Connor Williams, at one point, it looked like he was going to hold out. He held out of the team workouts earlier on in the summer. So a lot of positivity. The only negative thing that I can think of that we did hear a little bit about was Tyreek Hill didn't have himself a good day.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill had a few drops. He was actually so mad at his drops that he punted a ball during practice today. He just decided and just punted it.
Well, I mean, it's better than that than slapping people.
Hey,
so.
But that's also true.
Could be worse. It could be worse.
Could be worse, but it shows his passion that it's not just it's the first day of training camp. Whatever, I had a couple drops. Like he's there to work hard and work towards a goal, and that seems to be going good. Now the guy throwing him the ball did have a pretty good day. Tua had a pretty good day throwing the ball. He started out, completed his first 4 passes, was 1 for 3 after that, but it was really just good defense rather than and some drops. There was quite a few drops early on today as well, but Tua starting out 4 for 4, including there was it kind of went semi-viral today.
Amongst Dolphins fans, it did.
Amongst Dolphins fans, the throw that Holland just had great coverage, and Waddle tipped it up to himself.
Yeah, that was pretty. Now, I'm not going to be looking for clips like that like I would have last season. Like, remember last offseason where we got the one where he hit the bomb over the top to Tyreek Hill? And not just Dolphins fans, like, everybody exploded because they're like, oh, Tua can do that? I think it was was it the first practice that there was fans in the seats? I think it was the first one.
It was the first practice that fans were in the seats, and they just threw an absolute bomb.
So that was really uplifting, because all the talk that offseason, besides his injury history, which wasn't as big of a problem last year as it was, or 2 years ago as it was last year, but at the time that was a conversation piece, and it was also a conversation piece like, hey, you got to do more than just throw an out route, 4-yard out route to your left. Like, you got to be able to do more than that. That was the talk all offseason long by all the media members, and then we got to see that. We're not looking for that as much this year because we know that Tua last year, 8.9 yards an attempt, He led the league in air yards per attempt. So that's something that we're not really worried about. So it is a little bit less exciting of a training camp because there's that mysterious nature to it last year.
Yeah.
How is the season going to go? Now there's expectation. Now there's show up, do your job. We're not looking as much for those clips, those viral videos. We are wanting to hear and see that everyday progress is getting done. There's competition all around. That's what I am more looking forward to than can Tua throw the ball beyond 10 yards of line of scrimmage.
I'm 100% with you. And if you remember, Tua's first snap in preseason last year was a 75-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. Or no. Did he score a touchdown on that? No, I think he got tackled. But
Are you talking about preseason? Yeah. He got tackled.
The first snap of preseason, he just it ended
did
up being
underthrow
completed for it was underthrown, but just like the energy in that stadium, like you knew that throughout training camp and preseason they wanted to get the fans hyped up. Now they're instead of trying to hype up the fans, I think they're trying to get to work and try to go and win a playoff game.
Yeah, they're not sitting there as worried about their quarterback. The worry is, whether he's going to stay upright or not. But that's not something you're, knock on wood, going to worry about in training camp from your quarterback. Except for when Ryan Tannehill found a way to tear his ACL in training camp. That's like, from your quarterback position, you don't usually see your quarterbacks in a position to do that.
Well, in Tannehill's defense, he kind of already tore his ACL. So before that,
yeah, well, he should have had surgery on it, and he didn't. So.
He should have. He did that plasma thing, whatever. Anyways,
yeah, has anybody even done that since?
I don't.
But speaking of Tua, we got to see the ink. Finally, got to see the arm bust out.
The full sleeve. Now he did talk about it a little bit. He said it represents his firstborn and things like that, along with the Hawaiian culture. As we stated on the live last week, that it kind of means leader and warrior. And that now that he has a kid and growing confidence in his career, it kind of just all led to it. It did take him 3 sessions to do it. And now I did say it did go over here a little bit, so I'm not sure how much of his chest it takes up, but it does go over to his chest a little bit. I did see a little bit of ink over here.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty typical with Hawaiian Samoan tattoos. Like if you look at The Rock, like his goes pretty much his entire pec, like not quite about halfway down, but it comes into the chest a little bit. Geez, that sounded rough too. We've had a few good ones so far.
Oh man!
But it looks good, and exactly what we talked about last week. It shows that confidence. It shows that comfortability. It shows literally and metaphorically being comfortable in your own skin. Now, something that we did find out today is that he is not going to be participating in the second season of quarterback, which is, I don't know if it's something necessarily hoped it would happen, but we would definitely be intrigued by. Like, we don't necessarily want our quarterback going into a year where we have the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. We don't want that to be something that's just following him around and something he has to think about. But on the other hand, it would be cool to see that side of Tua and see a little bit more of his personality.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week, the pros and cons of him going on there. It's like, yeah, you have the little bit of a distraction, but, on the other side, you get to see the great insight onto his life. Now, he did say one of the main reasons for him not doing that was he's a very private person. Now, I believe he said that in his interview multiple times. He also said, he's like, do I want to put my kid on, do I want him to be in front of the cameras and everything else? And do I want, to do an interview in my car after a loss? Like, the loss is already tough. Like, do I really want to go and do an interview after that?
Right. Yeah. Which you stayed over last night. I did not finish the episode, bro. So we mentioned at the front of the stream that we did our draft yesterday. We finished at 1:15, 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. So when I laid in bed, put it on, watch it for a little bit. You knocked out. I could hear I could hear it from my bed.
I was not snoring.
You weren't snoring, but you were definitely inhaling. It was clear you were breathing. Let's just say that. And I get to the point of the Super Bowl just started.
What's all that dust down there, bro? I was snuffing.
Sure, we'll go with that. I think I got to halftime, and there was 20-something minutes left in the episode. I'm just like, dude, I can't. I can't. It's been an incredible watch. Like quarterback, if you haven't seen it yet, super exciting. I'm really excited to see. I'm as excited to watch the Jets as I've ever been to see Hard Knocks and see what Aaron Rodgers is like with the group that he's with. Because I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, we never got to see him with the Packers on Hard Knocks, mostly because they always made the playoffs and they choose a team that didn't make the playoffs to be represented on Hard Knocks. But quarterback's been such a success, and with social media, with YouTube, with how open athletes are nowadays, you get to learn a lot about them without needing Hard Knocks. That was really the initial sell of Hard Knocks is, hey, you get to see the behind-the-scenes footage of what goes on during training camp. We kind of get that a little bit already from the teams themselves. So it loses some of the specialty, but I still absolutely love to see Hard Knocks and everything that goes on behind the scenes.
But even the new in-season Hard Knocks is really cool. It's kind of like, I would say, like a team version of quarterback, but I think I like quarterback more because you get to see, Mahomes mic'd up for every single game of the season and just how he plays and everything else. But yeah, I forgot where I was going.
Last year was the Cardinals, right, on the in season? It was the debut of the in. Yeah, it's just. It was the Arizona Cardinals. One second. Let me finish this, and then you can go on to what you were about to say.
Yeah.
It was the Arizona Cardinals, so I was like, why on earth do I want to watch the Arizona Cardinals? Like, it was actually probably would have been nice to see Kyler Murray when he got hurt, but then we saw it all over Instagram, all over Twitter. Like, we got to see it anyways without watching it. Like, our boy Nick, who is actually a living, breathing Cardinals fan, like, that actually exists. Guys, there are really Cardinals fans. They exist. They exist. We found one. We're friends with one. Like, they're real human beings. I never expected to see that in real life, but our friend came in wearing a Buda Baker jersey, and we're like, excuse me?
Wait, what?
Excuse me? Buda Baker? Like, cool, I guess, but he's like, yeah, I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm like,
what?
Yeah, that was interesting, but what was not interesting is watching the Arizona Cardinals, the Hard Knocks. That was just not the vibe.
I mean, because they're super restricted on what they can do during the season, because you're not going to get as in-depth as during like training camp, because it's more serious time during the season, which is why, a lot of teams don't want to be on it, is because they don't want that distraction. They don't want the unseriousness. I'm not sure if that's a word, but
close enough.
It's borderline. It's borderline.
We know you struggle with the English language, so I'll give you that one.
I like making up words, guys. Anyways, Rodgers just came out today that he took a $35 million pay cut.
Yeah, I was at work and Joey told me about that. I'm like, come again? Just like with what we're just talking about with a Cardinals fan. Like, you will not catch me taking a $35 million pay cut. Nah, fam. Pay me. I don't care. Give me that money.
Aaron Rodgers of all people took a pay cut, which is that. I think that just shows you how much he wants to win a ring with the Jets.
Yeah,
that he's willing to take that pay cut so they can go and bring in even more talent there. Now, given they have a top 10 talent roster in the NFL, like.
Yes,
the Dolphins, I feel like, are the most talented. Then it goes probably the Bills and the Chiefs, Bengals.
Fam. We are not the most talented team in the NFL. Calm down.
Oh, Eagles. How could
there's another team that I'm even thinking also too. Come on, bro. 49ers.
What team?
49ers.
Oh, okay, yeah. So those are the top two. We're probably third. Yeah. Think about all the pieces that we have. Like they have like bigger names and stuff, but that's because they get all like the primetime stuff. We don't get primetime.
I'd say we're definitely in the top 5 just because of how good Patrick Mahomes is. Like, I know it's just one player, but like, come on, like they have more than Patrick Mahomes there with the Chiefs. So, but we're definitely top 5. We're definitely top 5. One thing I was about to say, it was a day that we saw 2 absolutely absurd decisions with money. Both footballs, I guess you could say. You have Aaron Rodgers doing a $35 million pay cut, and then you have Mbappe not taking the $770 million 1-year contract. I mean, what's more surprising, Aaron Rodgers, knowing who Aaron Rodgers is, turning down $35 million, or arguably the best soccer player in the world turning down a 1-year $770 million contract? Are you nuts? And that's not $1 million. That's €1 million. That's like a $1.1 billion contract. Huh?
Yeah, no, you won't. Now, given there's probably things that it would probably void like certain contracts, like sponsorship contracts that he has, as well
Fine
as
with me.
as well as he could possibly also uh not make it out alive from over there.
It ain't that bad.
No,
They
like it's not that bad, but like imagine so they signed him to a 1 year, $1.1 billion deal, and then he's like, "Hey, peace, guys, I want to leave," and then they're like, "Haha, nah, you're staying here in jail, buddy."
Nah, with
They
what's
just
going on over
they
there,
just make up their own laws over there,
they
bro.
do. Trust me, I know it's a dangerous part of the world, but like what's going on right now with soccer, and it's I know, and yeah, we're getting a little off topic from Miami Dolphins talk, and I know you're not the biggest soccer fan, but what's going on with Saudi Arabia is real, and it I'm not saying it's going to take over as and be the number one soccer league in the world, but there's a lot of names like you don't necessarily know, but like are really good, legitimate players in the prime of their careers that are going to play there. It's not just like Messi coming to the United States at 37 years old. It's like guys who are 28, 29 years old in the prime of their careers playing for some of the best clubs in the world saying, nah, fam, give me the bag. Money talks. And apparently doesn't talk for Mbappe and apparently doesn't talk as much for Aaron Rodgers. That was two things I was very surprised to see.
But
And,
you can kind of compare it to Live Golf and like all the great golfers going over to Live Golf, and then PGA had to merge with Live. Anyways, back to the Dolphins.
yeah. Dolphins. What's next?
Well, we can talk about so Savon Ahmed had a really good day. He was the standout back today. Behind him was A Chain, but Savon Ahmed really impressed the reporters that were there. Being day one, a lot of the second and third string guys, they got a lot of reps. Ahmed probably being the fourth string running back as of right now, but he got a lot of reps today and looked really good.
So where do you think let's talk about Ahmed a little bit for now, because last week we talked about A Chain and what his role will be on the team. You look further down that depth chart, it's Gaskin, it's Ahmed, it's some of the undrafted free agents that we brought in. I don't even know if they're even still with the team anymore, but I'm sure there's somebody. Ahmed is a guy that he's just been constantly staying around, hasn't really done too much to impress, but he's there. He fills a role, and you need guys that fill a role. And come the start of the season, the fact that he can play special teams really well, the fact that he, you like to mention so many times. What's your compliment about Ahmed that you love to specify?
The Bills games, bro, he just tears up the Bills. It just doesn't make sense. It's like what's his name on the Eagles when he goes against the Giants?
Kenneth Gainwell?
Is it not Kenneth Gainwell?
Boston Scott?
It's Boston Scott. Whenever he goes against the Giants, he just kills the Giants. It's the same thing with Ahmed. Like, Buddy doesn't do anything else the other 15 games of the year. But against that one team, they just decide to have a career game, and that is Savon Ahmed. Now, Savon Ahmed, not really like he's a decent pass catcher. I would say average for a running back. Route running's not that good. It has improved year by year, but not enough for me to really be like, oh yeah, he's super improved. But running in between the tackles and his vision there, plus his speed to get to the spot is really, really good. It's just that he's small in stature, so he doesn't take hits well.
This is gonna be his fourth season on the team. Am I mistaken?
Wow. You are right. I am proud of you.
So
I'm proud of you for knowing that.
I really did not expect him to be stayed around this long. Like I remember that first season, and you watched him run, and we didn't really have a lot to compare him to. Again, it was like Myles Gaskin, and I think Kenyon Drake was even still there at the beginning of the season. So
I thought he was going to turn into the next Kenyon Drake. Sorry to interrupt.
Which even that is like, how good is it really? But the Dolphins in recent years, we had those 10 minutes with Jay Ajayi. Lamar Miller was hot for a minute, and then he wasn't. We've had a bunch of just guys that are doing a job. It's been a long time since we have a consistent runner. So he's not going against a high level of comparison. Like you're not comparing him to Nick Chubb. You're not comparing him to Saquon Barkley. You're not comparing him to those situations. The Dolphins have not had a great running game for a long time. But Savon Ahmed, he's somebody who came in that first year, which is kind of a grinder, did everything he needed to do. And usually you want to see a guy take that and then develop his skills and move up the depth chart. He's not really necessarily done that, But he's just continuing that hard work mentality, doing what he has to do, finding a spot on the roster, and just making it really difficult for the coaches to let him go. I thought after that year, I'd be like, okay, that was cool. That's a guy we'll talk about, a few years from now. Like, oh, you remember Savon Ahmed? Like, that season he had, had a couple of good games. Then, he drifted off into non-existence, kind of like what Malcolm Perry did that one. Like, he's like, oh, he had a catch for the Dolphins one time. He went to Navy. Like, remember that? Like, I thought he was going to be kind of like that. Or I think it was Navy that he went to. But with Savon Ahmed,
it was Army.
yeah. whichever it was. Savon Ahmed just continues to be on the team, and based on the fact that he can do the special teams, he's not going to be taking significant rushes from anybody else. But if he's called upon, he'll do a half decent job. I think he's going to end up making the team.
I think so too. I don't think there's a single possible way he does not make the team. Even if we do get Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, someone else
Zeke,
to
Leonard
fill
Fournette.
Zeke, Leonard Fournette. I don't think we're signing those guys. But
Yeah, me either.
look at was it last year or the year before, for example? Like, we had Sony Michel on the team, right? I think it was last year. Sony Michel, and going into the last week of preseason, and Savon Ahmed just showed up and showed out in that third preseason game, and we ended up releasing, instead of Savon Ahmed and Myles Gaskin, we ended up releasing Sony Michel.
I'm trying to look up his stats because I'm not even certain he's gotten above 150 rushing. Okay, so I do take that back. So this is going to be his fourth season. Like I said, last year he only had 64 yards. He had only had 64 yards on the ground. He had a touchdown. That first season, 2020, he had 75 carries for 319 yards. He averaged 4.3 yards a carry last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Last year averaged 5.3 yards a carry. He has 4 total touchdowns. Not somebody that he's going to end up on a lot of highlight reels. But if you can come in and get 2 out of 3 seasons, 4.3 and then 5.3 yards per carry, and as well as I keep mentioning it, you add on the special teams aspect of things, you're just going to continue to find yourself on the roster. And a guy he can do the one role where Myles Gaskin, we haven't really seen him much on special teams. I have a feeling that Myles Gaskin is going to end up getting cut from the team, and Savon Ahmed is just going to keep on swimming. Pun intended.
Yeah, I think Gaskin does get cut. He definitely gets picked up somewhere as like a depth running back. I just feel like we have so much depth as it is that we would rather keep Ahmed, who better runner between the tackles, Gaskin a slightly better pass catcher, but I think we can easily trade Gaskin, or if we sign Dalvin Cook or Kareem Hunt or any of the other 50 running backs. I mean, we're clearly. I do want to talk about running backs here in a second, but what was I think we are more likely to trade Jeff Wilson if we sign a big name running back like that than to get rid of Ahmed and Gaskin.
Yeah. Let's go into that running back conversation. I'm not sure exactly how. Huh?
I kind of want to start that off.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So this is my thinking earlier today. I'm like, so it came out that Saquon Barkley, the Dolphins made an offer for him. Basically between, the Dolphins tried to trade for Dalvin Cook earlier this offseason. They tried to trade for Saquon. They're probably making an offer on Josh Jacobs as we speak. They made an offer to Dalvin Cook, given it was so low that he didn't even consider it a serious offer. But it's telling me that the Dolphins feel like they don't, to me, it just tells me that they don't trust their running backs. Now, I like our running backs, and I'm fine with, keeping the ones that we have and not adding anymore. I'm sure you are too. We're content with our running back. A lot of Dolphins fans keep telling us in the comments, hey, we don't need more running backs. But clearly, the front office and the coaching staff think that we need another running back. And that just baffles me a little bit.
So I'm glad that's the stance that you're taking on it, in terms of you're seeing what the coaches are telling you, and then you're forcing making your opinion based off that. Like, guys, last year I kept telling you, hey, Eric Azukama, I hope he ends up doing good this year, but the fact that he was inactive, the fact that Noah Igbenogany was inactive, it was because the coaches were seeing something in them and deciding they are better off for one reason or another, that they are better off not suiting up. The team is now looking at the running back core. They know exactly who they've got. They're the same exact dudes from last year. And, undrafted free agents who, I highly doubt are going to end up taking a spot. But they are looking at the squad that they have, and they are just telling us we want somebody else. Whether it's because of a lack of skill, which could be a skill issue. It's very possible. Yes, I had to throw that in there.
I was waiting for it.
Or it could be what I think it is, just getting the maximum talent possible and throwing it out on the field. I'm not sure which it really is, especially if you look at the numbers last year. It's not really that bad. Raheem Mostert, 891 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4.9 a carry. Jeff Wilson, 4.7 a carry. Those are obviously going to be the two top guys this year. Savon Ahmed, 5.3 a carry. Guys that were there last year are still going to be here. So if you just look at their efficiency numbers when they did get the ball, you go from 891 to 392 with Jeff Wilson, although he was only here about half the season, so that makes sense. You look at those efficiency numbers, and just by the books, you should be okay with that being your running back core next year. But we all know those guys aren't just their efficiency numbers. You can get so much more, and there's so much more available right now. There was one guy's available, Saquon Barkley. I told you guys we should try to get him, and clearly the team tried to. Y'all call me crazy in the comments. I knew it. Had to boast a little bit. There's still Josh Jacobs, who is available, maybe via trade. We'll see what happens. And then there is a plethora of older guys who are still mostly in their 20s as far as I'm aware. So they're not, like retirement age for running backs, they kind of are. But there are still guys out there that can come in and help us win a Super Bowl. Leonard Fournette did the same thing with the Buccaneers. He wasn't, a top 10 running back, but he did his job. He did it well, and he was better than what they had before. So I don't think we need to bring these guys in. You look at those efficiency numbers, it's not, off the charts, or it's not off the charts in terms of a negative, but there is clearly room for improvement.
Yeah, once again, like you pointed out, like the statistics going into last year, it was really that we didn't run the ball. It's not that we couldn't run the ball, it's that we didn't run the ball. It's very different from years past where we actually couldn't run it whenever we tried to. Whenever we tried to this year, we were very successful at doing so, especially after we got Jeff Wilson. Our yards per carry jumped up on the whole team. I think at least half a yard, maybe a whole yard. I'm not 100% sure on that statistic. But going further, Mike McDaniel said himself he didn't run the ball enough. We need to run the ball more this year. And I think on top of that, I kept saying we never threw enough check down screens. Like, maybe it's because we always had someone open downfield, but, even if Mostert was wide open here in the flat, Tua would diamond into a double coverage to Waddle and complete the pass. So we never really said, oh, hey, that was a bad throw or bad decision. He made the pass, and he did it so often throughout the year. But you also, I think those checkdowns, sometimes you have to do it just to keep the defense, guessing.
Well, I think a different way of looking at that is yes, Mike McDaniel acknowledged that he could have done better to utilize the running game. And then also, I'm not sure if he's actually acknowledged this, but we acknowledging that could have done better to hit those checkdowns, keep the defense honest. So you have evidence A, that they just tried to get Saquon. You have evidence B, that they didn't run the ball a lot last year. And you have evidence C, that they didn't throw the ball a lot. That just tells me they do not trust the running backs. Even though he acknowledges, yeah, we could have done better. Yeah, we could chalk that up to coach talk. Coach is never going to go out there we just don't have good enough guys on roster, especially when you then go re-sign them back.
Unless you're Adam Gase.
Yeah, well, that's a different issue. He brings them back, so he clearly doesn't think they're actually trash. But I think he knows what he's got. He's got 3 guys that he can bring in for cheap. He has 2 absolute superstars on the outside, and he's going to, I think there's a very strong chance that he does the same thing this year with the running backs, which is basically completely ignore them except for occasionally on first down. I mean, remember, I think no game signifies this even better than the Texans game last year, where you're going against the Texans, who I think at the time had a bottom 3 rushing defense, and we only had 60 yards. And then you have Skylar Thompson in this game in the second half, and it was an absolute blowout. But you see the lead starting to dwindle away, and it got to a point where we're sitting there in the stands like, all right, come on, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. And with Skylar Thompson, with the game in the fourth quarter, there was, I think, 2 drives where we went 3 and out and did not run the ball one single time. There's just too much evidence at hand that he just doesn't trust the running game or the players we have to then facilitate the running game.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also I'm not sure if you meant by facilitate the running game as the offensive line, like he doesn't trust the offensive line to get that push.
No, I meant the actual running backs themselves, but that's part of it too, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe, that's a little bit of the case. You want to keep, I think part of the reason that we ran the ball so well is because we passed the ball so much. So, yeah, we did run the ball well when we ran the ball, but there was also, hey, maybe we ran the ball that well because people weren't expecting us to run the ball because we passed it 80% of the time. I'm not sure if that's an actual statistic. I'm kind of exaggerating here. Yacht for life. Welcome in, brother.
Hey, what's up, homie? It's good. The offensive line, I didn't talk about the offensive line at all. That's definitely part of it. That's definitely part of it. It's not a surefire thing that it is the running back's fault because we know how bad the offensive line was last year. I don't need to bring out any numbers. I think we were 24th rated offensive line via PFF, but we know it was that bad. And we also know that you can't just fix an offensive line like that. You can't just make a trade and all of a sudden your offensive line's done. Like when we brought in Teron Armstead, it's not that, maybe a little falsely we thought that would fix all of our issues, but we clearly see that even when Teron Armstead is fully 100% healthy playing every single game, the offensive line last year was still was still kind of shaky. What you can do is revolve the offense around the fact that you have a bad offensive line, which would then mean you want to get speed. You want to have guys that can get open immediately. You want to have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and then you want to have a running back in the backfield that you're handing the ball off to who is just so uber talented that the offensive line, while yes, it is going to be harder for him, but we saw Josh Jacobs last year get the rushing title with a team that I think it was it last offseason that the Raiders basically cut their entire offensive line, or was that 2 years ago? Which one was it?
Yeah. I
think it was last year. I think it was last year. Josh Jacobs. They had
a bottom 5.
Yeah, they had a terrible offensive line with the Raiders, but Josh Jacobs is just that good of a running back that it didn't matter. Saquon Barkley and the Giants has had mostly a bad offensive line in front of him, and he was just that good. So, maybe I was being a little too harsh there for a second on the running backs. I'm kind of making these revelations as I go, just to put it out there. Some of y'all been commenting about some things we've said. Look, some of these conversations we're having right now, we're not scripted in any sort of way. We did not go into planning to talk about this. So if we say something that's a little wild or incorrect, all right, we're literally just 2 dudes talking in the moment. All right, sue me. But yeah, Saquon Barkley should have been a Dolphin. We should have got him. Dang it. Basically, all in all, I wish Saquon Barkley was a Dolphin.
Yeah, basically. Well, we can move on from this topic. I do want to get into a little bit of let's talk about the return game because it's kind of interesting. So we did bring in Braxton Berrios. He's supposed to be our certified returner. However, Cedric Wilson is still practicing there, as well as River Craycraft. So for River Craycraft, it may just be that's his last-ditch effort to really make the team. Because we talked about this last week. We think that Braylon Sanders may take the spot over him as the last wide receiver to make roster.
Over River Craycraft you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense.
Maybe that's Craycraft's last-ditch effort to, special teams. And that's really how he stuck around with San Francisco for a little while. But yeah, there's that. Also today, the defensive line had a really good day. In particular, Raekwon Davis had a huge day, especially in the run-stopping department. David Long also there in the run-stopping department. Undrafted rookie Brandon Peely had a couple of good plays as well in the run.
I thought we were going to talk about the return game.
I talked about it for 30 seconds.
Oh, well, I brought up the numbers because, again, like I just mentioned, a lot of the stuff we talk about is unscripted and we're just 2 doofuses that starts talking. Holy crap, the return game was even worse than I thought it was last year. So Raheem
it was absolutely horrible.
Raheem Mostert was the guy who mostly took back kicks. Take a shot at what he averaged per kick return. So just
Mostert on
remembering
kick
that
return?
remembering that the 25-yard line is where the touchback goes to. If you just had to guess, what do you think it would be?
17 yards.
Okay, it's not that bad. 20. So we are averaging return 20 per return, and then kicks. Oh, jeez, did I just lose it? Here's punts. We had a total of 111 punt return yards last year.
And I
In
can tell you
17
that
games.
more than half of that came in one game. Bro, when I tell you that every single time a punt went in the air, I saw a fair catch, like it was basically, if you were a Dolphins fan, whenever we were being punted to, it's like you can look away, look at your phone, whatever,
Yeah.
because they were just fair catching it all last year.
Nothing exciting was happening.
Is there a number on how many fair catches there were, since you have that in front of you?
I don't think so.
Out of how?
No, I'm on Pro Football Reference. I don't have that.
Does it say how many returns? Since you have the yards, does it say how many actual returns?
There was
I can't wait to hear this. Is it less than 20?
yeah. Yeah. It's 19. We returned a punt basically on average once per game. Give or take.
That is so bad.
19. Are you kidding me?
Bro, I kept calling for our special teams coordinator to be fired.
If you had
Danny Crossman has to go.
If you had to guess the kick returns last year, what would you guess? It's not much better.
Probably like 25.
29.
I was gonna guess 30. Not gonna lie to you. I was gonna guess 30.
You're guaranteed one kick return, not one return. You're guaranteed one kickoff per game, whether it's beginning of the half or beginning of the game or beginning of the second half. You're guaranteed one opportunity. We did not have a good defense last year. We let up a lot of points, a lot of scoring, whether it be kicks, whether it be touchdowns. It was not great. We had 29 all year.
I kind of want to know what the league average is. I'm not sure if you can look that up.
I have no idea. What I can do is compare it to our opponents. Our opponents returned 11 more punts, 30, and we actually had more kick returns than our opponents. It was 29-26. So,
okay,
I guess that means we are good at kicking the ball into the end zone. So Jason Sanders, except for that one Jets game, I guess actually did something last year. Dude, that last year, I don't think we have too much more to talk about. So I can ramble about this a little bit. Jason Sanders saving his Dolphins career in one game was not on my bingo card list last year. All right. Jason Sanders being the best player in Dolphins uniform on week 18 and being the reason why we got into the playoffs was not my bingo card. All right.
Yes, bro. I'm telling you, like when he lined up for that last kick, and you had a good view of it. You had a good view.
Unfortunately,
I have a side view. So I'm like, did it go in? Like I just erupted with the rest of the fans, and there's plenty of times that the fans erupted. Like it was clear that something did not happen that they thought happened, and I'm like, or kind of like the Robert Hunt that you talk about so often. Like you're like said I knew.
Yeah. So I went to the Ravens game. Both him and I were at the Ravens game 2 years ago, and I saw Robert Hunt catch the ball, and I was like the only person in the stadium who knew it didn't count. So like I'm on the opposite end zone also at the time. I was sitting in a different seat, not the opposite end zone, but like on the 10-yard line. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, doesn't count. And everyone's just going ballistic, and I'm just like, guys, it doesn't count. Come on. So I didn't get to enjoy it like everybody else did. But Jason Sanders, last year he definitely had his low points. It wasn't as bad as maybe we think it was. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he had a kick that necessarily made us lose the game straight up. Am I mistaken in that memory?
So it wasn't that it lost us the game. It's just that it didn't. If he made a couple of kicks, we would have had. There was one game where he missed two field goals, and we ended up losing the game by like 10.
Okay, I
So
see
like,
what you mean.
yeah, that didn't lose us the game, but like it doesn't help our momentum. It's like, okay, if you make that kick, it's like, okay, cool. Now we're down by 5 instead of
that math
10.
is
So,
that math
or
is totally
8.
incorrect.
Math is math. Okay, math ain't mathin' right now.
Every single math you just said was wrong. Every single one.
I said math ain't mathin'. Math ain't mathin'. But yeah, so it's like
Chromes aren't zooming.
Like, okay.
Chromos aren't
zooming.
Chromos aren't zooming.
Chromos aren't zooming. Okay. But you get my point. Like I wasn't in there for the math part, sir. I was just in there for the.
Thank God you already have your career, because if you were trying to be I feel bad for anybody who's accountant. All right, I took 2 accounting classes in college, and that was probably the most miserable thing I've ever done in terms of schooling. Like that was awful. Well, okay, that's not necessarily true. The first one was terrible. Sorry to anybody who may be giving me a job one day. I cheated my entire way through accounting too. Like the entire thing, cheated the entire way through. It was that first initial semester of COVID where like halfway through the it was the first full semester of COVID. So everything's online, and teachers are kind of trying to figure out how they can stop kids from cheating. But we think better than they do. We think we're ahead of them. They're trying to catch up to us. So we had like a group chat where just everybody was selling exam answers for like $20.
Yeah, I can't blame you. However, math is like the one thing I'm actually really good at. So,
and you know what the funny thing is? You know what the funny thing about that whole thing was? This actually, we maybe we should have came clean at the end and tried to get some extra credit points, because what kids were doing, they were buying the answers from somebody for, let's say, $30, and then they were then selling it for $25. So he bought it one time for $30. That kid would then go sell it 3 times for $25. So everyone would just buy it and just sell it for like $1 or $2 cheaper. Right. And then he's the go-to guy now, and then he's the go-to guy now, and it just keeps going down the list.
Bro, that's genius.
It's a business major. So like, if anything, we should be like, guys, like, look what we did. Look how smart we are as we're cheating our way through this class.
I actually, so in high school, how like you're supposed to sell candy and whatever. So for
I was that dude.
For my marketing. I had to do it for my marketing class. I sold candy.
You just ate them all?
No. I sold 2 boxes. And then I kept the box, right? And I had my own candy, put it in the box, and sold my own candy.
Let's go!
I got caught by my marketing teacher, and he was just like, "That's pretty smart, bro."
So
my marketing teacher was chill.
I kind of sort of did the same thing, just wiggling around the story a little bit. So I was selling these $2, the world famous chocolate bars. If y'all know, y'all know. If you don't know, then look it up. I'm pretty sure they're called world famous chocolate bars. They're like white, and then they're like blue was the regular one, like the caramel color was caramel, and so on and so forth. If you know, again, So I had to sell those as a fundraiser for $2, and kids bought them. So I'm like, this gives me an idea. So we went to Sam's Club and bought a box of I didn't reuse the box. I just bought the boxes at whatever they had at Costco or Sam's, whatever it was. And they sold for $13 each. There was 30 things of candy in there. Sold them for $1 each and made $17 profit. Pretty much sold a box every single day. And because I started doing that fundraiser, just nobody questioned me as I just kept selling chocolate. I never got caught. One of the administrators, some of y'all know T. Pendel on YouTube. Well, his dad was a security guard at my school, and so Mr. Pendel, I just hear, "Young man," from like way behind me, and I turn around, I see him, I'm like, ah, crap, security guard got me. I'm done selling candy. He's like, "Oh, this girl wants to buy candy." I'm like, "Really? Nice."
Huh?
And but one doofus of a girl. I have no idea who she is. I don't care about her. She's stupid. She comes up to me. She's like, "Who are you selling for?" I'm like, "For me,
Myself.
my wallet, my financial status."
I'm an entrepreneur.
And she's like, "Oh, it's not for the school. It's not for a cause." I'm like, "It's chocolate. Buy the chocolate or don't. Don't
Bro,
bug
you
me."
should be like, it's my college
It
fund.
is not for the school. It is not for a specific cause. Buy the chocolate. Buy it. Who cares? You want chocolate? Eat the chocolate. It's not going through our cause. Yes, it is. All right, so I'm not as broke as you, broke boy,
Broke boy.
broke girl, broke BOI,
Yeah,
gender
broke girl.
gender neutral boy.
Gender neutral boy.
She was a Karen in
BOI.
high school. You're not selling this for a
Bro,
cause. That's not allowed.
Imagine being a Karen in high school. I had a few of those.
She was ugly, so like it made sense. Like I don't remember her face. I
I
don't remember what she looked like, but she was not a good-looking woman. I remember that she was not a good-looking female whatsoever. She wasn't a woman at that point.
Before you end up digging your grave with
I'm
her,
not gonna dig my grave, bro. She was ugly. She, there's tons of beautiful, wonderful women in the world
She had an ugly personality.
and face. Don't forget the face.
So we'll go back to Dolphin stuff. I'm looking at an article by
I mean, we
Barry,
can go over an hour.
where he
I think
was,
it might be time to wrap this up.
kind of going through. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. I'm gonna wrap it up with the end of training camp stuff. So apparently the coaching staff and the organization holds Kendall Lamb in high regard. He played left tackle for that one game against the Patriots last year. Played pretty well when Teron Armstead was out. He did get injured in practice the week after that and didn't play the rest of the season. But they're holding him in high regard, according to Barry. They expect Austin Jackson to be their starting right tackle. So if Isaiah Wynn does not make it back on time to, make it a competition for Austin Jackson's probably going to be our right tackle again. I know that scares you.
Yeah, because he sucks and he can't stay healthy. That's why it concerns me.
I have the same concerns, brother. Rookie cornerback, our second round pick, Cam Smith, had a deflected pass from that was thrown to Brandon Sanders from Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson and Mike White, both pretty even on the day. Mike White went 5 for 5, and Skylar went 4 for 7. This is 7-on-7s, day one, and everybody's playing with everybody. There's not really first, second, or third team. They can't report on who's playing with what right now, according to the
When
team
is
rules.
when is the first day that we are able to go? Not we as in we, but as
Both
in
of
the
us?
people. The people.
Okay, we the people can go on Sunday.
We the people do declare that we will be at
We
the
the
Dolphins
people
minicamp.
do declare we will be at the Dolphins minicamp,
Training camp.
or I will. Training
Well,
camp.
You will be the first, and
on
then eventually I
Sunday.
will. Are you? Ooh,
Yeah, on-
well, I'm going
on-
to confront him about this. Are you going to be vlogging afterwards, sir?
I will try. I'm going with my dad, so we will see.
So
I plan to.
have
I do
him
plan to.
hold the phone and then just sit there and
I'm not
talk.
having him hold the phone. I'm not having him hold the phone.
Then what's going to hold the phone?
Me. I'm gonna be like this.
Your arm's gonna get tired after 2 minutes. When we did the pancake thing, and I was outroing like this, dude. Just like a minute and a half into it, I'm like, oh, this hurts.
You also did arms that day, so.
I didn't do anything that day. We did that like earlier.
Or
in
no,
the day.
it was the day before. No, wait. Was it earlier that day that you did triceps?
No.
Because you were complaining about how you were sore from the gym. I do remember that.
That's because I've been on that grind.
Hey, brother, me too.
The only thing you're grinding is
I've only been on the grind for like 2 weeks though, so we ain't got any results yet.
Wait.
Hey, we gonna
Ooh.
get there eventually.
Ooh, hit him with it. Hit him with it. Hit him with it. That's just fat. Hit him with it. Wait,
No, that's fat.
hit him with it.
That's muscle.
Y'all see it? Y'all see it?
Bro, I bet the hammer curls, bro. The hammer curls been doing me right. Anyways, the last play of practice, Craycraft caught a pass from Mike White but then fumbled the ball after Justin Bethel knocked it out. And then rookie linebacker Aubrey Miller, everybody, your boy Aubrey Miller recovered a fumble. I know everybody that really loves Aubrey Miller. I mean, I think that's our highest view is Aubrey Miller.
It's our second highest view. I think my first Dalvin Cook video passed it, or some video I did passed it.
Oh, hey, you know what? I have the rest of the top 10, so it's okay.
Well, yeah, just because they're all the undrafted videos. All right, those are all collected into one effort. All right, bud.
One effort, bro. Yeah. I sat in front of the computer for like 3 days straight,
and I respected it. I respected it. Now we need you. I need that same energy with the shorts and the TikToks and the Instagram. All right, yell at this man, boo him. I say, he is not giving you all content where he's supposed to be.
Catch us on TikTok, Instagram.
You haven't even created an account yet. What do you mean catch us? There's nothing to catch.
I'm gonna make it in like 2 seconds. Gridiron Fins, catch us there.
Ooh! Did he just slip some potential information to you guys? We haven't decided the name, so we're not gonna go. We're gonna hold off on that one for now. Y'all got a little tease. We're gonna hold out on that last one for now. All right, we're gonna.
Hey, if you're in this, you got a little teaser.
You did. You
come.
You got a little teaser of something that's coming. Hey, holla at you, boy. I was gonna say buy our stuff. We don't have anything to sell yet, so buy our stuff eventually.
Oh, hey, when we hit 1,000 subs, we'll be releasing some merch, so be on the lookout, bro. Hey, if y'all want, yeah, I got this. Hey,
for $10, I'll come to your house and smooch you.
I'll do it for free.
Thoughts? Ooh. But the thing is, that'd be a long drive for you. You wouldn't even get that back in gas money.
But yeah, once we get to 1,000 subscribers, guys, we'll be releasing a mini merch line, and then we'll also release the new merch.
You have to make that into a short. Where I said for $10 I'll kiss you, you have to make that into a short.
I'm not making that into a short. You can do that yourself.
That was like 10 seconds. What is wrong? See, this is the type of energy we get. All right. Whether he doesn't know what words are, whether he doesn't come prepared for his segments, or now he's not doing his job, it is a lack of professionalism that you guys are getting here that I'm simply sick and tired of. All right.
You're talking about smooching people.
I like smooching people.
I know you like smooching people.
And for $10, hey, holla at your boy.
Let me slip Liz a 10. So
hey, for me or for you say for me or for you?
I said, let me slip Liz a 10 so she can give it to you.
So you cut out that last part, which was very vital information.
I can only imagine what it looked like on your end, bro.
You know what's that movie Inside Out? Like the anger guy was just like, did he say something?
What is it?
What did he say? Did he just?
Bro, my button ain't working. I gotta figure that out.
What I heard was this. That's what I heard.
I have my bleep button here. I showing up.
I'm hearing something now.
No, it would be like a clear bleep. It's just I have to fix my settings on my soundboard. But yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've taken up a lot of your time. We appreciate y'all stopping by with us. We got 5 people in the chat right now. So we appreciate y'all stopping by. We're going to be here every single Wednesday for the live streams. 7 o'clock, 7:15 was today, but that was my fault. I had to work, and I needed to eat afterwards. So, yeah, there's that. But, tune in every single Wednesday. We will be dropping a couple of videos from this live stream throughout the next few days. Now that we're in training camp, we're actually going to be having content to talk about on a regular basis. So what's relevant right now won't be relevant on Sunday.
Hey,
so it's actually be really fun that we're going to be finally able to record and talk about what's actually happening instead of what if.
I'm so psyched about that.
We made it.
And we made it. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. I'm making that into a TikTok.
Go ahead. Do the kiss thing too, though.
You can do the kiss thing.
Cap, you're still in here, I think. Anybody else is in here? Hey, it's a little inside, it's a little inside thing. Like, hey, for $10. I'm pretty.
All right. Hey, y'all might be catching 2 videos a day. I'm just saying.
All right, let's calm down.
Well, a video from the live stream and then a video for current content.
I don't even know how many videos we got from this. We'll figure it out. But again, We thank y'all very much for stopping by. We love y'all hanging out with us as we just talk utter nonsense. It's crazy that people take us seriously. Like, it is crazy. Like a lot of y'all are great. A lot of y'all that watch are great, and we see the comments, and especially even if you disagree, if you you provide your reasoning. Like, I like reading it. I like seeing the interactions. I love reading comments from y'all. I read even if we don't respond to every single one, we read every single one and we acknowledge it. Sometimes instead of responding to y'all, we just text each other oh, did you see what that guy said? Like, we genuinely read every single comment. But every now and then there's a doofus who thinks that I'm like Adam Schefter, or he thinks that I think I'm Adam Schefter. I'm like, my guy, I'm in my bedroom. My bed's right there. Like, who do you think I am?
How tall is Devon A-Chain?
5'6".
Ladies and gentlemen, if you couldn't tell, he was being sarcastic.
He's 5'5", 110 pounds. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. There you go. Savon Ahmed is 5'5".
Devon A-Chain.
Did I say Savon Ahmed?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. As soon as it left my tongue, I was like, wait a minute. Something.
Bro, he can't even get our running back straight, bro.
I don't want to hear it from you. All right. It is, but that is the last thing we're talking about. It is crazy that people watch us start talking utter nonsense and be like, "You didn't play football. You guys don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, brother, I am 23 years old. He's ugly. Like, what do you expect from us?
I'm pretty. Hey, maybe we need to show these guys that we can play football when we'll hit the field one day, mic'd up and everything.
What do you mean by we, brother?
What do you mean by we?
I can play football.
You've never seen me play.
Does that look like athleticism to you guys, ladies and gentlemen?
This is the American athlete right here.
For those of you that cannot tell, I am 6'6", somewhere between 255 and 260 pounds. He is...
I still.
Yeah, I didn't hear what he said. He is 5'11".
6 foot.
On a good day. 5'11".
240.
240.
6 foot, 240.
He lacks...
I'm slimming down.
It's not necessarily...
I'm slimming down.
Well, my issue with you is not necessarily your weight. My issue with you is your lack of coordination.
That comes with the weight, though.
This guy has zero rhythm. All right, we're in the car yesterday, and you know when your seatbelt doesn't, you don't do the seatbelt, and it goes ding, 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 right? So I start tapping it, so it's like ding, ding, ding. He's tapping. This is exactly verbatim how he's going. He's going ding, 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 ding. Like, he just can't find the rhythm on a consistent beat.
You're lying through your teeth right now. It would go ding, 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 ding.
That's what you're doing. You're supposed to go ding.
I'm not hitting it on the ding. I'm hitting it after the ding.
Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Make sure to like, subscribe, get involved in the comments. Get ready to look for videos later this week as we will be covering training camp. We appreciate all y'all coming in and joining with us. Jacob, Donovan, this is Miami Dolphins Syndicate. We will see you guys on the live stream next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. You're alive.